Chapter 544, State Preceptor. How about a drink? A rich fragrance of the wine spread in her mouth. It was really brewed using grade 3 spirit herbs, which was much better than the original wine. It was a pity that she could not drink much. She wasted the chance to taste such delicious wine, but she did not have time to taste it again. She suddenly felt dizzy, and her whole body fell backward. In that moment of drunkenness, there was only one thing on Feng mind. She had just gently touched the wine with her lips. She did not even take a sip. Why? Why could this not work? How bad a drinker was she? Xian put down the glass in his hand. He raised his hand and pulled Feng into his arms. He ran his finger over her beautiful face. He smiled gently. Tang Yin was shocked. Xian was caressing Xiaoqing in front of her. She tapped her finger and pondered carefully. If she went up and grabbed Xiaoqing, she would be beaten until she was half dead before Xiaoqing woke up. If her face was scarred by Xian, Xiaoqing might dislike her, right? As Tang Yin was still thinking, she saw the girl in the man's arms slowly opening her eyes. She stared blankly and gradually looked around. Her gaze finally fell on Tang Yin. Xian noticed her gaze on Tang Yin. He frowned and stared coldly at Tang Yin. Why don't you leave? Shut up. Be gentle to my beauty. Xian was silent. He pulled Feng into his arms once again. You're drunk. I shall bring you to rest. He should be aware of this woman who was a threat to him. He should have thrown her out with Qingzhu. Feng strongly pushed Xian away. Nevertheless, he did not move at all. Xian held her in his arms firmly and did not give her any chance to struggle. Man, go away, Feng said with a provoking smile. She turned her head and looked at Tang Yin. She laughed desperately. Hey beauty, how old are you? Do you want to sleep with me tonight? Tang Yin was stunned. Could anyone tell her what had just happened? Qingqing did not like men? Did she like her? Perhaps this was what Tang Yin had thought of. Tang Yin was delighted and smiled while moving toward Feng. But she suddenly felt a cloud of cold air lingering around her before she could approach Feng. She stretched her neck and stopped in her tracks. She looked up and just happened to meet Xian's eyes. It was very scary. Tang Yin swallowed hard and felt like she was about to cry. Damn that Tang family. Who told her that Xian had a good temper and was very gentle? How was this a good temper? Just by looking at his gaze, she felt like she was being sentenced to death. Hence, she could not approach Xiaoqing. Luckily, she managed to put her feelings for him to an end. In comparison, Xiaoqing was gentler. Xian lifted Feng by her waist regardless of her struggles. He then turned around indifferently and headed for the backyard. In the room, Xian put Feng on the bed softly. He stared at the girl's face with his cold eyes. He would not let her drink in the future. If she was determined to drink, it would be better to empty the manor. Feng shook off him, wanting to get up. Where is my beauty? Chapter 545, State Preceptor. How about a drink? Xian stroked her hair softly and gently. I'm here. Feng blinked. She looked at the handsome face. It was too beautiful to be true. Your face is indeed beautiful. She stroked Xian's chest again. But your chest is too flat. I don't like it. Xian froze and lowered his head. He moved his mouth near the young girl's ear. His voice was still clear, but it was no longer cold and distant. Then, what do you like? Feng raised her head and looked at Xian. I like beautiful people. I like pretty ones. If they are not pretty, do you like them? I like them too. Why? It's because I can sell them my herbal dish to make them beautiful. I think that my father can no longer support me financially. I could go and sell my herbal dish if I have no money in the future. She had a manor filled with spirit beasts. She needed to feed them with divine spirit fruit every day, and they needed to drink and eat too. Moreover, Beery had a big appetite. If Feng wanted to recruit more spirit beasts, her father might not be able to keep them anymore. Xian was speechless. Don't you think that Tang Yin is much more beautiful now? There is an extra herbal dish that could enhance her looks in her meals these past days. Tang Yin? Xian frowned slightly. He said calmly, Xiaoqing. He remembered suddenly that he had lost Qingzhu when he was about to ask it a question. He had no choice but to ask Feng Ruching, "Who's Tang Yin?" "Tang Yin is a beautiful person." "That's right. Where's my pretty girl?" Feng Ruching remembered the pretty girl who was alone outside the room. She struggled to get up from her bed. A hand came and stopped her just as she wanted to get up from her bed. Luckily, the man used another hand to support her head to prevent her from hitting her head against the bed. Soon after, there was a soft and gentle kiss. The man's kiss was soft and unfamiliar. It seemed like his kiss had gone through multiple lives and finally came to fall on her lips. "You only need one pretty person, and that's me." His eyes were no longer cold and distant. They were gentle, and there was a depth to them that could captivate people. Feng Ruching felt a great shock. She looked at the man's gentle and loving gaze. Somehow, she felt that she had seen those eyes somewhere. She could not remember. "I can't remember anything. I want to sleep with you." There was only one thought fixed in her mind since the first day they met. "I want to sleep with him." It was like an unfulfilled wish, and she must fulfill it in this life. "Chinger, do you know who I am?" "State Preceptor Nan Xian." Feng Ruching smiled with a twinkle in her eyes. Nan Xian finally breathed a sigh of relief. Luckily, this girl does not think that I'm another woman. Nan Xian, too, did not know the reason why he had that kind of thought. He felt that the women around Feng Ruching were a threat to him. Feng Ruching did not wait for Nan Xian to speak. She hugged Nan Xian's neck. Then, she got up from her bed and turned around to harshly press the man underneath her. She smiled boldly without any restraint. "Pretty one, you're so good, but there's only one thing lacking in you. You have a flat chest." Nan Xian was speechless. Who does she think I am? Or is it because she's still drunk and hasn't regained her senses yet? "But I still want to sleep with you." The young girl lowered her head and pressed her lips upon the man's lips. Chapter 546. State Preceptor, how about a drink? For the girl did not finish her sentence, and she fell forward into Nan Xian's embrace. She slept immediately. Nan Xian did not know what to say. "It looks like she's still drunk." Nan Xian smiled softly. He put Feng Ruching back to bed and covered her with a quilt. Then, he turned and embraced her. The sun had set when Feng Ruching woke up. She opened her eyes slowly. She turned and soon saw the man sleeping next to her. The man's face was so perfect from the side that he looked like an angel. It was so flawless that it was beautiful. But Feng Ruching was shocked, and she quickly got up from bed. But her action was too sudden that the man beside her woke up with a start. "You're awake?" Nan Xian smiled softly and asked her. The young girl turned her head gingerly. She had harassed the state preceptor and slapped him once the last time she was drunk. "What did I do this time?" "State preceptor, I was unintentionally drunk, yes? Did I do something to you? Could it be that I was so violent that I forced him to sleep with me?" "Yes." Nan Xian nodded his head calmly. "You brought me to your room straight away. Then, you said that you want to sleep with me." Feng Ruching froze. "Did I sleep with you?" The state preceptor mentioned before that she needed to beat him in a fight if she wanted to sleep with him. It was clear that the state preceptor did not want to sleep with her. So, she should be calm and restrain herself before she could beat the state preceptor in a fight. If not, the situation would get out of hand. Moreover, she was drunk before and she knew nothing. If she had slept with the state preceptor, she would not feel anything. Was it not a waste? "I refuse to submit to your wishes," Nan Xian said nonchalantly. Feng Ruching breathed a sigh of relief slowly. "But," Nan Xian smiled softly, "you knocked me out when I was unaware of it. I don't know what happened then." Feng Ruching was speechless. She had a mental breakdown. What did I do after I brought the state preceptor here and knocked him out? What more could I do? In fact, you might not believe it even if I tell you the truth. Feng Ruching recovered her senses quickly. She said calmly, "I'm not that kind of a person. I would totally marry the state preceptor, and I would never do such a villainous act. You think that we've slept together, but I felt nothing and it was such a waste. So, why don't we try again?" Nan Xian's eyes fell upon Feng Ruching calmly. He smiled. "All right." Feng Ruching was silent. Did the state preceptor just say yes? Feng Ruching's eyes brightened, but she soon felt that she was too unreserved. So, she restrained herself a little. She cleared her throat. That's good. Do you want to take off your clothes first? Or do you want me to do it first? Nancian was quiet for a while. Why don't we do it together? All right. Feng Ruching smiled. They were getting closer and closer to each other. They could feel each other's breath. The atmosphere in the room was rather heavy. Master, I'm finally back. Qingzhu was dirty, and it seemed aggrieved and sad. It crawled into the room through the window. It was trying to catch its breath, but it froze when it felt the atmosphere in the room. It was a feeling which made the snake tremble. Moreover, there was a sudden feeling in its heart when it saw the way Feng Ruching and Nancian turned and looked at it. It's over now. I'm going to be made into snake soup. 1. Chapter 547. The state preceptor is jealous. Nancian had put on his clothes. He walked toward Qingzhu slowly, seemingly calm. Qingzhu murmured something and it swallowed its saliva. It laughed sheepishly. Actually, I can explain. Nancian grabbed the snake's tail. It was like he was pulling a dead snake as he walked out of the room without any expression on his face. Master, where do you want to bring me to? I don't want to be turned into snake soup. I don't want that. Princess, help me. The snake's hysterical scream disappeared the moment Nancian left. But the sad echo still lingered in the air, and it remained there for a long time. It was heavy. Feng Ruching was speechless. She could only pray for Qingzhu for 3 seconds, not even a second more. Who asked it to appear out of nowhere and bother our moment? The next day, in the morning, Feng Ruching had just finished showering when she heard some noise outside the manor. She put on her clothes and walked out of the door. She soon saw Tangzi and the iron-blooded troop when she stepped outside. All of them smiled happily when they saw Feng Ruching. Master! Soon, all of the women from the iron-blooded troop surrounded Feng Ruching, where she stood in the middle. You're back? Feng Ruching breathed a sigh of relief subconsciously when she saw that they were back. Tangzi was ordered to go and look for the spirit herbs, and she did not return for a long time. She was relieved now that they were back. Master, I'm sorry. We've been looking for the spirit herbs for many days, but we could not locate all of them. Tangzi seemed apologetic and lowered her head. It's me. I'm useless. Feng Ruching smiled. I asked you to go and look for the spirit herbs as a backup plan. It's fine even if you could not locate all of them. You're not useless. The spirit herbs are rare. You've tried your best. That's more than enough. Moreover, my mother is fine now. How could I blame them? All of the people from the iron-blooded troop were silent. They were guilty and felt uneasy. Now, their master was even consoling them. It made them feel uneasy. Master. A woman from the iron-blooded troop blinked. If I were a man and I were 10 years younger than I am now, I would definitely marry you. Feng Ruching patted her shoulder. You're still young. Later, I'll ask the four-armed ape to give you some herbal dish that beautifies one's looks, and all of you will definitely look like girls who are 20 years old. Really? No girl in the world did not dream of staying young and beautiful. But the time would always take away one's beauty and leave some traces of time. Although the women from the iron-blooded troop fought like men on the battlefield, they still wanted to stay young and beautiful. Furthermore, they were still single and unmarried. They treated Lu Yun Kingdom like their home where they were willing to sacrifice their whole lives to protect it. So, they still needed to help the soldiers from the Nalan family to guard the border even though Nalan Yen was not around for the past few years. And that had made them still single and unmarried. Of course, it's true. Feng Ruching's gaze was warm and she smiled. You're women. Ling Yun, I see that you're losing hair recently. You might be too tired. Remember to rest well. They'll prepare some herbal dishes for you to treat your problem. Ling Yun's eyes looked like stars and were filled with excitement. Chapter 548. The state preceptor is jealous too soon. Her eyes became sad again. Master, you treat us so well, and we'll still be single because of you. Why? Ling Yun smiled happily. It's because nobody is as beautiful and gentle as you are. If you're like this, all of us want to marry you. Feng Ruching was speechless. Nancian was there just in time to hear Ling Yun's words when he stepped into the backyard. Feng Ruching was hugging one on either side at that time. Her smile was so bright that Nan Xian soon turned cold. Qingzhu shook its head and came out from behind Nan Xian. There was a big lump on its head. It blinked helplessly. Master, is it because you're not beautiful enough? Or maybe you're not captivating? Does the princess not want you anymore? The air around Nan Xian soon turned cold. It was breezy. Qingzhu was frightened, and it retreated. It seemed aggrieved. My master is too fierce. I can't afford to annoy him. Nan Xian saw that Qingzhu kept quiet and spoke no more. Then, Nan Xian turned his gaze upon Feng Ruqing, and his eyes soon turned gentle. Feng Ruqing seemed to notice something, so she raised her eyes. She saw a man as calm as a breeze. State Preceptor. She was too nervous that she had accidentally pushed the two women in her embrace away. They staggered. She immediately rushed toward Nan Xian and threw herself in his embrace. Nan Xian held out his hands and hugged Feng Ruqing. There was a soft smile on his face. You're awake? I have been awake for quite some time now. Feng Ruqing smiled happily. She peeked and saw Qingzhu, who was hiding behind Nan Xian. She was slightly shocked. Xiaoqing, why is there a big lump on your head? Did somebody hit you? Qingzhu was speechless. Doesn't she know what happened? Qingzhu was unable to say anything before feeling the cold stare given by Nan Xian. It was frightened. Master, I did not want to attract the princess' attention. It's the princess who always notices me. No, that's not right. It's not the princess who always notices me, but my presence is too dazzling. The princess did not do it on purpose. That's not right either. Qingzhu could feel Nan Xian's coldness. It trembled even more. Finally, it almost burst into tears. Luckily, Nan Xian held back from glaring at it. He stroked the young girl's hair softly. There was a gentle smile on his face. It's not good that all of the members from the iron-blooded troop are women. Feng Ruqing kept quiet. Feng Ruqing raised her head suspiciously and frowned slightly. She did not understand the State Preceptor's meaning. Nan Xian lowered his eyes and hid the sparkle in his eyes. He spoke nonchalantly. They are women no matter what. If all of the members from the iron-blooded troop are women, then nobody can do the heavy work. They cannot even do dangerous jobs. Qingzhu was speechless. Master, you just think that those women are a threat to you given that they are always there to seduce the princess every day. You want to give them away to the male soldiers. Your reason is so well-founded. Does the princess know that you're that kind of person? Feng Ruqing felt that what Nan Xian said was logical. It's true. I can't ask the women to do some work. What you said is logical.
Yes.
Nan Xian smiled slightly. Moreover, they should be married by now. But they have sacrificed their youth for Lu Yun Kingdom. If there were men among them, they might be able to find their soulmates at last. Qingzhu laughed coldly in its heart. Last night, Master hit me and I spat a pot of venom. He even interrogated me to find out who is always by the prince's side. Chapter 549. The State Preceptor is jealous 3. If not, why could my master remember the iron-blooded troop given that he can only remember things for a few seconds? Who else can he remember them other than Feng Ruqing and Feng Tianyu? Surely, Qingzhu could only complain about its master in its heart. It would never voice out its opinions, even if it was daring enough. State Preceptor, what you have said is right. Feng Ruqing raised her brows. I'll ask Tangzi to deal with it. Tangzi, go and recruit some male soldiers. I trust your opinion. Tangzi smiled happily. Yes, master. The girls from the iron-blooded troop never had any chance to get in contact with outsiders. They only fought in wars or trained in their troops every day. They did not have any time left. Moreover, they could not recruit people who were not talented or had behavioral problems if they wanted to recruit more forces. So, she would be relieved if they really did recruit the members by themselves. Nan Xian smiled and held out a pot. He put it in front of Feng Ruqing. Feng Ruqing did not understand the meaning of it. Nan Xian smiled softly. This is Xiaoqing's venom. If you want to hurt somebody in the future, you can just use this to poison him. If you have finished yours, they'll ask Xiaoqing to give you more. Qingzhu's face darkened. It's true that I'm venomous. But I've vomited all the venom I've stored. What does Master think my venom is? Saliva? Although they come out of my mouth, their effects are different. All right, I'll make Liu Yuchen to try it out next time. Feng Ruqing paused. If he dares to burn my princess manor again. Nan Xian's eyes were cold. Does he want to burn the princess manor? I'm not sure about that. Qing Ling said that he secretly stares at my princess manor every day. I saw it that day too. If he has no other intention, why is he always staring at my manor? Moreover, Tang Yin and my cousin burnt his Lu manor once. I think that he might want to take revenge on us. I can think of no other reason. If Liu Yuchen liked someone else, he would totally cling on to that person given that he was that kind of person. But he did not cling on to Feng Ruqing. He just stood in the distance and stared at the princess manor with his evil eyes. It must be that he wants to take revenge on us. Nan Xian smiled coldly. Xiao Qing. Qing Zhu was silent. Why did Master call me? You go to the Lu family and burn their manor again. Qing Zhu was quiet. I'm a snake. A snake. Do you think that a snake knows how to set things on fire? Do you think that a snake could spit fire? Master. Qing Zhu raised its head with much difficulty. It trembled and said, I'll go now. Goodbye. Qing Zhu left the house with a swoosh. Soon, it disappeared. Nan Xian turned back, and he took out another storage bag. He put it on Feng Ruqing's palm. Feng Ruqing did not know what to say. She looked at the storage bag in her hand helplessly. How many things did the state preceptor gather for me? The corners of Nan Xian's lips were slightly raised. This is from my mother. She asked me to give you this, including the phoenix's tears. She also asked me to give you this. If the white phoenix was there, he definitely would cry and scream hysterically if he heard what Nan Xian said. That bastard. He had taken away all the things from the treasure room. I have given her so many treasures, and I wanted to leave a good impression of me in front of Suyi's future daughter-in-law. But you did not even mention my name. You bullied me. Feng Ruqing was stunned. Your mother? Yes. Why is your mother giving me these treasures? Chapter 550. The state preceptor is jealous for. It's because she said that you're the first woman who wants to sleep with me. So, Feng Ruqing's face darkened. She coughed twice. Did you introduce me like that? That's right. I even said that you'll be the first woman who sleeps with me when you can beat me in a fight. Feng Ruqing did not know what to say. That's right. She asked me to give you a present. Nan Xian walked toward Feng Ruqing slowly. His eyes were clear and they seemed angelic. He still seemed calm, but what he said was obscure. The time now is unsuitable. I'll go and meet you tonight when you want to sleep tonight. It is a present, and I need to change it for you myself. Although Feng Ruqing did not know what it was, she felt like it was not a good thing after hearing what Nan Xian said. Did your mother really give me that present? The one which you need to change for me yourself? Feng Ruqing was suspicious. Nan Xian's gaze was true and honest. If you don't believe me, you can ask her yourself later. The doo-doo was really given by his mother to her. So, he did not lie to Qinger in this matter. But Nan Xian was talking nonsense when he said that he needed to change it for her himself. Tang Shi and the others were stunned. Somehow, they felt that the relationship between the state preceptor and their master was unusual. So, they left the place knowingly. They gave them their space. Nan Xian smiled gently. His eyes were loving. Go and look at the presents. See if there is anything that you don't like. What if there is? Feng Ruqing asked with a smile. If you have anything you don't like, I'll take it back and use them to hit the white phoenix. Feng Ruqing was speechless. What has it anything to do with the white phoenix? State preceptor. Feng Ruqing smiled and walked forward. You have given me so many treasures. Aren't you afraid that I'll use those treasures and improve my strength? Then, you won't be able to beat me in a fight. It does not matter what you want to do, even if I want to sleep with you. Nan Xian kept quiet for a while. In fact, it's okay if you want to sleep with me now. Feng Ruqing saw Qing Ling rushing toward her from the outside before Nan Xian could finish his sentence. She was panting and there was sweat on her face. Princess, princess, I heard that the general has gone mad. Feng Ruqing was stunned. My uncle has gone mad? He went mad the night before yesterday. He is always arguing with the old general. The whole street could hear their fights. He was mentioning about a street vendor who is selling wine. The general might want to buy some wines from the vendor, and the old general was unhappy about that. Feng Ruching was stunned. Does uncle know about the spirit wine? My uncle cannot keep secrets. If he knows of it, the whole world would know that I can brew spirit wines. But it's fine. I have given away jars of spirit wine as a reward this time, and it proved that I do not care about those things. Moreover, I have settled my business with Gu Zhenyang. The people of the Divine Herbs sect must hate me by now. Now that they hate me, what if there's spirit wine too? We'll fight someday. I don't have to care so much. Why do we need to care so much? We just have to live happily. This Divine Herbs sect, they'll go there someday. Everyone from the mainland knew that the people from the Divine Herbs sect had an esteemed position because they could cultivate spirit herbs. She wanted to know whether the present Divine Herbs sect had any relation with the Divine Herbs sect 10,000 years ago. Moreover, Qingling stopped talking for a while before continuing. His Majesty has given an imperial edict. The general has been appointed as Prince Regent. The general was so angry that he tore the imperial edict apart and scolded His Majesty ceaselessly. Chapter 551. The State Preceptor is jealous. Feng Ruching was having a headache now. She touched her forehead. Uncle is in trouble now. To her uncle, being a Prince Regent was much more difficult than leading the army in wars. Qingling was slightly worried. Princess, the general scolded His Highness ceaselessly. If this news spreads, would General Manner be? Feng Ruching shrugged. It's fine. My father has always adored him. He could scold him, and my father would still not be angry. We don't have to bother about others' opinions. Moreover, Qingling blinked. Lady Tang went to General Manor again. She has broken the general's favorite tea set by accident 2 days ago when she went to General Manor. She had even cut down the willow tree there because she wanted to move it to the Princess Manor. Today, she went there and cooked a arowana there. She said that she wanted to serve it to you for you to strengthen your body. Luckily, Tang Yin had only harmed General Manor. She was quiet and obedient during the time when she was living at the Princess Manor. Fortunately, she did not go to the back hill. She also did not pluck the herbs there which were planted by the princess. Otherwise, the princess would surely be so angry with her. Feng Ruching was quiet for a while. Then, she asked, did my uncle hit her? Qingling smiled happily. Young Master Nailin is on Lady Tang's side. The general would never be able to hit her. Princess, I find that the two of them are quite closed. Would it be that the two of them? Nancian's facial expression had grown worse before Qingling mentioned the final incident. Then, Qingling mentioned those things, and the man's facial expression grew better. Qinger, they're quite suited to each other. Why don't you grant their wishes and ask her to stay at the Nailin family for a few more days? Is it? Feng Ruching was suspicious. She thought again, and she felt that what the State Preceptor said was also logical. She could not help but say, Qingling, go and pack Tang Yin's things up. Let her stay at the Nailin family more. Moreover, warn my uncle for me. Ask him not to bully her. I want to ask her to go to Fengyun Manor. I'll go there by myself later. At first, she wanted to ask Tang Yin to go to Fengyun Manor and bring the prisoners from the Tang family back to Lu Yun Kingdom. Now, Tang Yin was getting closer to her cousin. She would never break a couple apart. Then, why don't I go there by myself? I could go and take a look at Fengyun Manor. At the same time, Tang Yin, who was getting closer to Nailin Jing, was being chased all around the manor. Nailin Zhangqian was stamping his feet angrily. Little girl, give me back my koi now. I don't care now that you've cooked my arowana. But, give me back my koi. No. Tang Yin did not even stop running. She ran fast, just out of Nailin Zhangqian's reach. Xiao Qing told me the day before yesterday that she wanted to drink fish soup. But, you have drank the arowana soup which I had secretly cooked before. I won't return the koi to you. Nailin Zhangqian was in great pain when she brought up that matter. He had walked past the kitchen that day, and he saw the delicious fish soup. He thought that it was cooked for him by the kitchen maid. So, he had drunk the fish soup. When he finished drinking the soup, he soon found out that there was something wrong with it. This fish looked just like my arowana. It's just too much. That young girl has done too much. Stop. Nailin Zhangqian was panting for breath. I must give her a lesson today. My koi, you did not stop when you have hurt my arowana. Now, You want to hurt my koi too. If I had known of your behavior, I would never have promised Chinger to let you stay here. Tang Yin was unable to stop running when she crashed into a person who was walking toward her around the corner. Tang Yin's eyes brightened when she saw the woman in front of her. She slid and hid behind the woman. She seemed pathetic. Aunt Sheen, Uncle Nailan is bullying me. Chapter 552. The State Preceptor is jealous. 6 Nailan Zhangqian stopped walking too. He was outrageous. This girl has done too much. She has taken my koi away. Qin Yi protected Tang Yin and stood in front of her. She was frowning slightly. It's only a koi. When did you become so stingy? That's right. I just want to cook fish soup for Xiao Qing. Xiao Qing would definitely love it. Tang Yin smiled happily and excitedly when she thought of Feng Rooking's excitement. Did you hear that? Xiao Yin just wants to cook fish soup for Qinger. Qin Yi stared at Nailan Zhangqian. Do you see how sensible she is? You're always so fierce. What if you scared her? You should learn from her. Take your koi and cook it for your father. Nailan Zhangqian was speechless. Nailan Zhangqian was nervous and he felt wronged. I spent a fortune on the koi. A fortune. Qin Yi snorted. Xiaoyin, don't be afraid of this stingy man. Let's go. Go and cook the fish soup. I'll ask Dyer to go to the Princess Manor with you. She's talking about wanting to meet Qinger. Fine. Tang Yin held the koi in her hand happily. But she had accidentally used too much of her strength, and the koi died from suffocation. One enchant Qin, the koi is dead. Tang Yin almost broke into tears. Her eyes were red, and she seemed pitiful. Qin Yi soon turned soft. It's fine. Go and pick another one. Nailan Zhangqian did not know how to respond to that. At that moment, he only had a thought. A lot of his money was going down the drain. But my wife adores her. I cannot stop her. Luckily, Qinger is back. Tang Yin won't stay long at General Manor. She would not bring a lot of harm to us even if she wants to. But Nailan Zhangqian was not relieved for long. Qingling came with carriage and a few bags. Nailan Zhangqian felt that there was something wrong just by looking at Qingling's action. He asked hesitantly, Qingling, this, General? The princess said that she wants Lady Tang to stay here for a few days more, seeing that Lady Tang is quite happy here. She could have more time to bond with young Master Nailan. Surely, Qingling did not say it out loud. Nailan Zhangqian would go crazy if she said that. Nailan Zhangqian's facial expression froze. You said that Qinger wants her to stay at General Manor? Yes, General. Qingling replied respectfully. Nailan Zhangqian's lips trembled. He wanted to say something, but he did not know what to say. He turned and saw the kois which were swimming happily in the pond. He also looked at the scenery in the manor. Somehow, he felt that he could not keep them anymore. General. An imperial guard rushed in and gave his report. The lady from the Zhang family, the lady from the Li family, and also the lady from the Zhao family, they said that. Nailan Zhangqian frowned slightly. Those ladies always had all kinds of reasons and excuses to visit the Nailan family since they knew of the news that his son had broken off his engagement. At first, he was soft-hearted, and he allowed them to enter the Nailan family. But those girls had a lot of tricks up their sleeves. They talked with an unusually sweet voice, and they always fell down accidentally, but surely into Jinger's embrace, even though they had only stepped on a pebble as tiny as a thumb. Those girls would surely meet Jinger if he did not hide fast enough. In contrast, Tang Yin was more real. She was much better than those girls. Chapter 553. The State Preceptor is jealous. 7 Boom. Suddenly, the sound of an explosion was heard from not too far away. Nailan Zhangqian raised his head, and he soon saw smoke coming out of the kitchen. Then, he saw Tang Yin's face covered in dirt. She was accompanied by Qin Yi, and they went to pick his koi again. What's so nice about her? Why did I think that she's good? All of my koi would be gone by today. Nailan Zhangqian was so angry that his face was almost green. His whole body trembled. He did not know whether he felt angry or sad for her. Qingling, they'll give you a list, and I want to ask Qinger to compensate them. This girl is sent by Qinger. My koi must be compensated by Qinger. I had spent a lot of money on them. A fist hit Nailan Zhangqian's head. He was hit vigorously. He turned and saw Nailan Hu's angry eyes. Who did you ask for compensation? Who? Father, just keep your mouth shut. What if Tang Yin cooks some of your koi and Qinger eats some of it? I don't have this kind of stingy son. Nalan Zhangqian was furious too. Father, it's true that I'm stingy. You're no better than me. You lied to me about Qinger just because of a mouthful of spirit wine. Nalan, who was angry too. What if I had lied to you? I did lie to you. Who gave you permission to go and spread the news of me having the spirit wine to Qin Feiyang? You're a son who doesn't help your own family. Let me tell you something. If you dare to ask Qinger for compensation, I will disown you. Nalan Zhangqian laughed coldly. You can disown me and then call me your father. He would never forget how his own father lied to him for a whole year, just for a mouthful of spirit wine. What's worse was that I had even believed him. Boom. Nalan, who grabbed the broom beside him and hit Nalan Zhangqian with it. You bastard. How dare you talk to me like that? They'll definitely teach you a lesson today. Don't ever think that I don't know how you bullied Tang Yin just now. Qinger asked us to take care of her, and she is nice and sensible. Why do you bully her every day? Nice, obedient? Which part of Tang Yin did they see as nice and obedient? He did not hate Tang Yin, but he was aggrieved when he thought of his koi. Nalan Zhangqian was not brave enough to face Nalan Hu directly. So, he turned and ran away. He could see Nalan Jing crossing his arms in front of his chest. He was some distance away. Nalan Jing, you bastard. Why don't you come and help me? Master Nalan adored that kid. If Nalan Jing helped him, his father might listen. Nalan Jing smiled softly. You bullied Xiaoyin just now. Nalan Zhangqian was speechless. He did not want to talk anymore. All of you here are the same. I can't stay in this home anymore. Luckily, I still have a daughter. My daughter would never be this cruel like them. Dyer, quickly go and talk to your grandfather. Ask him to put down his broom. Nalan Zhangqian quickly hid behind Dyer. Dyer was so small, and she could never hide his whereabouts. Father, Dyer is not an idiot now. I remembered everything you told me before. Dyer frowned. You taught me since I was young that we should be kind and generous, especially toward our family members. We cannot be stingy. But, you're so stingy. Is what you taught me all false? It's good now that my grandpa wants to punish you. Dyer cannot stop that. Chapter 554. The State Preceptor is Jealous. 8. Nalan Zhangqian was silent. He was crying hard now. He wanted to leave home and never come back. Nalan Jing hugged Dyer. His fingers softly stroked the fading scars on her face. The scars on your face are recovering so much now. Even her intelligence is just like the children her age. Dyer smiled happily. Brother, my cousin gives me a kind of sweet water recently, and it is very sweet. My scar heals so much after I drink it. My cousin is so good. But father is so stingy. He does even allow my cousin to eat that koi. That's right. Father is the most stingy person. Since she likes to drink fish soup so much, we'll go and grab more koi and give them to Xiaoyin. Nalan Zhangqian was sad. She not only cooked my koi, but she had also burned my kitchen. We need money to repair the kitchen. Nalan Jing smiled softly. It's just a kitchen. Even if Xiaoyin burned the whole of General Manor, we can just use a little money to repair it. Why is father always bullying her? Nalan Dyer nodded vigorously. Sister Xiaoyin is a nice person. Father, don't you bully her. Nalan Zhangqian did not know what to say. He was stunned. Finally, he understood his father's feelings. The daughter whom I have brought up is siding with somebody else. That feeling is not just painful. It's devastating. Nalan Dyer tugged at Nalan Jing's sleeves. Brother, I remember that father has some other fishes. Since my cousin likes fish soup so much, then we'll just cook them and bring them to her. Nalan Zhangqian was angry. This daughter is doing harm to her own father. He felt that his fish could not escape that day. All right? Nalan Jing patted Nalan Dyer's head with great affection. As you wish. Surely, the result of that was that Feng Ruching would drink so much fish soup that she would probably vomit. Then, she would become so afraid of fish soup that she would never drink it again. At Supreme Princess Manor, Feng Ruching decided to look at the treasures in the storage bag since Nanxian had gone out. She was about to enter her room when an acquaintance came to the Princess Manor. Feng Ruqing was slightly stunned when she saw the man who was wearing a mask in front of her. After a short while, there was a smile on her face. Jiming, didn't you go out to deal with some business? Why are you back? Feng Ruqing was grateful toward Paramount in her heart. If the people from Paramount did not appear that day in the palace and stall some time for her, she might not have been able to save Feng Tianyu in time. Little girl, it's been a while since we last met. Do you miss me? Jiuming had an evil smile, and that smile was deep. Feng Ruqing's smile disappeared. No, get lost. If you just look at his eyes, that man is surely beautiful. But he is wearing a mask. Is there any scar on his face? Why don't I recommend some spirit herbal dishes for him? The most expensive ones. You said no and actually meant yes. It's so saddening. But it's fine. My arms are always open to you. Feng Ruqing was speechless. But I have some serious matters today. The man's smile was even more reckless. Feng Ruqing stared at the man suspiciously. You have come to meet me about serious matters? Don't tell me that you have hemorrhoids on your face and you want me to treat it for you? The man's smile did not disappear. He approached Feng Ruqing and took 2 steps toward her. You're making me angry. Do you just want to take a look at my face? I'm afraid that you might fall in love with me. Let's forget about it. Feng Ruqing was slightly stunned. This man is really more of a narcissist than the state preceptor. In contrast, my state preceptor is much better. Chapter 555. Brother's Whereabouts. What exactly made you come for me? I've already heard about what happened in Luyun Kingdom. Jiuming smiled. I guess you've already known that you have a brother who's still alive in this world. Feng Ruqing's heart skipped a beat. Her eyes were fixed on Jiuming's eyes. How do you know? There was a smile on Jiuming's lips. Along with the breeze, he caught a falling leaf with his slender fingers. Little girl, if I want to look for something, I'm definitely better in investigating than you guys, even than Fengyan Manor. Feng Ruqing squinted and said, You've already known that my mother is a member of Fengyan Manor since the beginning? Jiuming laughed. I just knew it not long ago. However, Empress Nailin has offended an extreme power. Back then, the Divine Herb sect would lay their hand on you guys if they knew Fengyan Manor were related to Luyun Kingdom. Therefore, I've concealed it until now. After he left, he accidentally found out that a bunch of elite disciples from the Divine Herb sect had discovered an ancient grave. He had gone forward to rob the grave before those disciples could get to those treasures. However, unexpectedly, when he was not around, too many things had happened. Fortunately, Empress Nailin had returned. Oh, there seemed to be a sneer on the corners of Feng Ruqing's lips. She took 2 steps closer to Jiuming and said, It seems like you've known my mother since the very beginning. Jiuming's face was covered with a mask, so it was not easy to tell his expressions. However, his evil eyes were flooded with a sense of helplessness. I didn't know that. Empress Nailin was in that Tang family either. Feng Ruqing stopped her moving and said, Tell me everything about my brother. Little girl, I can only tell you that I know only some things about him. There are still some things we'll still have to investigate. Jiuming looked serious now. His expressions were not as flippant as he was before. The only thing I can tell you is, he has something to do with Tianshan Manor. Tianshan Manor. Feng Ruqing slightly frowned. Why would her brother be connected to Tianshan Manor? Tianshan Manor and the Divine Herb sect were regarded as the supreme beings within the mainland. However, the Divine Herb sect's power was holistic, whereas Tianshan Manor had different smaller powers in it, just like a country with many states. Feng Ruqing had heard all of this from Nailin Yin. However, this Tianshan Manor had never made any contact with the outside world. Without Tianshan Manor's authorization, even the equally strong Divine Herb sect could not get inside easily either. Chapter 556. Brother's Whereabouts. 2. Jiuming smiled. Little girl, we'll give you Paramount. What do you think? Feng Ruqing was speechless. He was really up to no good. He was simply giving Paramount to her too. Feng Ruqing tried to recall all of the memories she had with Jiuming before. Suddenly, she realized that Jiuming actually knew well about her mother's situation. Also, He had tried all he could do to look for her mother, and he had even sought revenge for her. Feng Ruqing was a bit confused. Could it be that you owed my mother money, so you're here to pay your debt? Jiuming remained silent. Was he so poor to the extent that he needed to borrow from someone? Little girl, stop being suspicious as I bear you no malice. Otherwise, I would have already killed you since you've trampled on my face so many times. Oh, Feng Ruqing said, smilingly. Kill me? It depends on whether you are capable of doing that. Jiuming had always thought that he was quite an arrogant person. However, after he had met with this little girl, he finally realized what it really meant for a person to be arrogant. He could not help but laugh when he realized that this little girl was quite an interesting one. At least, even if she was not related to Empress Nalan, he would still like her too. Little girl, it's okay if you don't want to be the owner of Paramount. Why don't you let me help you find your brother, and you will devote yourself to me after I find him? What do you think? Feng Ruqing scanned Jiuming up and down, sarcastically, and replied, Are you as handsome as my state preceptor? Jiuming paused for a while before he replied, You haven't seen my face before. How would you know that I'm not that handsome? Even if you are really that handsome, you're not my state preceptor. The state preceptor was the only person she wanted to sleep with in her life. That was the first thing she was so determined to achieve from the first time she had met him. Be it her previous life or current life, she had always admired good-looking people. Yeep, it was not an infatuation, but only admiration toward good-looking people. Regardless of their gender, as long as it was someone who was good-looking, she would appreciate their aesthetics. That was it, nothing more. However, she would act differently if the person was the state preceptor. It did not matter if his look was outstanding or had turned dull or old. As long as it was her state preceptor, she would still like him. There was a kind of fondness which has nothing to do with a person's look, social status, or ability. As for this person in front of her, eliminated, something strange seemed to be flashing in Jiuming's eyes. After a while, the corners of his lips lifted into a smile. Little girl, I thought you love every good-looking person. However, it seems like you only love one person. Now you know. Jiuming's eyes landed on the young girl's face again and said, Then, I do really hope that I will never fall for you for the rest of my life. Or else, just like opium, it's hard to sober up once you're addicted to this kind of substance. Feng Ruqing was speechless. She looked at Jiuming with both sympathy and puzzlement. Is he mad? Why is he talking nonsense here? Still, her state preceptor was the best, as he would never talk nonsense. Qingzhu just came back from outside and craned its neck to peep inside the door. Then, it saw both Feng Ruqing and Jiuming were standing not far away from the door. Suddenly, its body went stiff. Then, it quickly turned around and slid out from the door. In the southern bamboo forest, just like viewing a figure in a drawing from its back, the man dressed in white, with a jade flute in his hand, swaying in the breeze, he looked gentle, elegant, and seemingly divine. Master! Qingzhu ran toward Nanxian anxiously as it was catching its breath. Quick! Follow me to the princess manor now. A bastard who had gone to harass the princess when the master was not around. Being its master's pet, it would never tolerate this. Chapter 557. Brothers' Whereabouts 3. We have to give that doggy man a real lesson. The princess only belongs to master. The man calmly glanced at Qingzhu and asked, What? Somebody had gone to look for the princess. Master, we must hurry up. What should we do if the princess is seduced by some fellows? The princess is always fond of beauty. What if that man takes more initiative than our master? They might start hugging each other later. Of course, Qingzhu had only caught a glimpse of Jiuming's back, but not his face. Therefore, it did not know what the bastard looked like. Nanxian frowned as soon as he heard that. Man or woman? Qingzhu was too shocked to say something. Why does master care about such a thing? To ask if this person is a man or a woman. Master, it's a bastard. Quick, let's go now. It had just finished working hard to set fire to Lu Manor. Just when it wanted to go forward and please the princess, it saw something that it did not wish to see. Oh, Nanxian sighed in relief. It's fine as long as the person is not a woman. Qingzhu was speechless and almost cried. Was a man not more dangerous than a woman? Stop being bothered about this. The corners of Nanxian's lips gently lifted. He paused for a while and said, "If you ever see any new little girl or female servant enter the princess manor, report to me." Qingzhu looked at Nanxian dumbfoundedly as it did not know what he meant. Or, Nanxian frowned. "You can throw those female servants out of the manor immediately." Qingzhu remained silent. "Master is taking precaution to prevent women but not a man? Master, aren't you afraid that the princess might run away with another wild man?" "Nope." Nanxian's smile was soft and gentle. "I trust her." Qingzhu paused for a while before it asked, "But then, why don't you believe in her when it comes to a woman?" Qing'er thinks because they are all women, so she doesn't need to care much. She also thinks that no woman will fall for her so she can do whatever she wants. I just want to protect Qing'er, just in case somebody slips in to hurt her when she is not sober. Qingzhu's eyes widened in shock. "Master, does the princess know you are so capable of talking nonsense? You are just envious because you saw the princess hugging here and there before, but then to claim that you are protecting her." Perhaps Nanxian had read Qingzhu's mind and slowly scanned its body. Qingzhu was too frightened and immediately replied, "Master's right. You do everything to protect the princess." Yeep. Without further ado, Nanxian calmly walked toward the southern bamboo forest. At the same time, far away in the mountains, the white phoenix was too tired as it slowly landed from the sky. It crouched on the ground, trying to catch its breath. "Sui, where's this place exactly? How should we get to Lu Yun Kingdom?" The white phoenix was too sad and almost cried. It had been flying for 3 days and 3 nights, but then they had returned to the starting point again. It really did not know how long it would take for them to get to Shaoqingqing. "Don't panic." Sui wiped the sweat away from her forehead and said calmly, "They'll ask for the directions. Wait for me here." "Okay, Sui. Please shout for me if you encounter any bad guy. I'll come for you immediately." Sui did not pay more attention to the nagging phoenix as she moved forward elegantly. Perhaps Sui was in good luck. She bumped into a girl just as she started looking for help. That was quite a good-looking girl, but she looked very disgusted as if there was some vengeance in her. Sui was jolted and slightly frowned. Before this, she would never disturb a person if she noticed that the person was in a bad mood. However, in such a desolated place, it was already a slim chance for her to bump into a person, so if she missed this girl, she did not know when she would run into another passerby again. Feng Tianyu is lascivious in nature as he cannot sit back as soon as he sees a beautiful woman. So does the Naylan family. Be careful, or you will be abducted by them. Xian sneered. She sounded so bitter as her eyes were flooded with resentment. Sui's calm face darkened. "I think in comparison, you are much more malevolent as you speak evil of someone in their absence. After all, this person standing in front of Sui was just a stranger. She did not know her since she was only asking her for directions. Did it make sense for her to believe a stranger instead of trusting her son's taste? Moreover, the White Phoenix did praise Qing'er even though they had only met once before, which indicated that she was outstanding enough to be an adorable girl. She would never listen to a stranger and not trust her son and friends. Xian's face turned stiff as she harumphed. "Believe it or not, it's up to you. I say it out of concert, Xian." A familiar voice spoke and came behind Xian. She turned her head around stiffly and realized that Qing Yuan was standing behind her. She had not noticed him at all. Qing Yuan, when did you arrive?" Qing Yuan looked disappointed as he looked at Xian, dumbfoundedly. He slowly closed his eyes as he seemed to be in agony. Chapter 559. Brother's whereabouts. He did not see Xian when he woke up this morning, so he got anxious and left the tent. However, he did not expect that he would. Hear Xian tell the story of the situation upside down. His Xian was such a kind-hearted person. Why would she turn out to be like that? "Xian, why do you slander the manor master and lady?" I demand an explanation. Xian recovered from her shock. She gritted her teeth and said, Qing Yuan, do you really think you're still at Dark Warrior tier? You're only a powerless person who got demoted and is without any social status. Do you really think I can't find someone else with my beauty? Why should I be with you? Qing Yuan was shocked and stared at Xian, dumbfounded. You said it before that you don't love vanity as power and status are not important to you. You love me because of who I am. You said it before. He stretched out his hand, subconsciously as he wanted to hold Xian's arms. However, Xian struggled, away from his hands. I didn't plan to leave you earlier, but since you have already heard my words, I don't feel like pretending anymore. Qing Yuan. The corners of Xian's lips lifted. The smile was arrogant. You don't deserve me. Qing Yuan clenched his fists tightly. Back then, you said that Nailin Jing had fallen in love with your female servant, so he had abandoned you. And then, he eventually abandoned your female servant too? Xian sneered. I just didn't want you to go and save a member of the Nailin family. Therefore, when I wanted to save them, you feigned illness and pretended to faint to fool me? Qing Yuan slowly closed his eyes. He felt very regretful as soon as he found out that Rongyan was Nailin Yin. He regretted the fact that he did not save the members of the Nailin family back then. If he had saved them, Nailin Zhangqian would not be humiliated, and the Nailin family would not lose so many of their members and soldiers. They would not have been killed. It was impossible for Xian to not know how regretful he was. If the master of the Nailin family did not come in time back then, perhaps Nailin Zhangqian and the other family members' souls were already frightened to death. But he was told that all was planned by Xian. Qing Yuan wanted to laugh. He wanted to laugh over his stupidity and his so-called infatuated love. Suddenly, he broke out in tears in the midst of laughing. Xian, why do you want to deceive me? Why? If you've chosen to deceive me, why didn't you keep on doing it? Why let me know the brutal truth now? He cried hysterically as his eyes were filled with grief. He had turned his back on Manor Master because of Xian. He did not save the members of the Nailin family because of Xian. He was expelled from Fengyun Manor and was demoted because of Xian. He had wished that everything he had done for Xian was worthwhile. But now, he finally understood how stupid he was. No wonder the Manor Master was so disappointed in him. No wonder the Manor Lady demoted his ability, because all of them wanted him to understand how vicious Xian was. Ha ha ha. Qing Yuan laughed hysterically without looking at Xian anymore. Then, he turned around and awkwardly rushed into the depth of the forest. Suyi, who was nearby, widened her eyes in shock. She was just asking for directions, but she did not ask for a big drama. It's all because of you. Xian glared at Suyi. He would never have known this if it weren't because of you. Suyi came to her senses after a while. Then, she gently replied, What is done during the night appears by day. For what you've done, people will find out eventually. Without turning her head, Suyi calmly left after she was done talking. Chapter 560. Brothers' Whereabouts. 6. Soon after Suyi had left, a dark figure came from the sky and stood in front of Xian. He asked, What did the woman ask you just now? Xian glared at him. How does that concern you? Han seemed cold. A cold, murderous aura was emitted from him, sending a chill down Xian's spine. She was too afraid to move. Tell me, why did she look for you? Xian's lips were trembling as she looked terrified. She asked me where Luyun Kingdom is. Luyun Kingdom? Han Ying's eyes grew cold. If Madame wants to go to Luyun Kingdom, does that imply that the girl whom Nancian likes is in Luyun Kingdom? Then do you know if there's someone named Qing? That white phoenix kept on mentioning the name Xiao Qingqing. Therefore, they only knew that that girl had a Qing in her name. Only after that, they would find out if that girl had anything to do with Master Nancian. Xian was shocked. She lowered her eyes and said, I do know a girl called Qing. She is Luyun Kingdom's emperor's daughter, Feng Ruqing. Han frowned even more deeply. An emperor's daughter indeed was not quite equivalent to Master Nancian's social status. The young manor master, Nancian's father, was right too. What kind of person is she? A light flashed in Xian's eyes. She gritted her teeth and said, She's a terrible person who thirsts for power and social status. And her mother-in-law had even fainted because she had made her mother-in-law so angry before her husband divorced her. Han Ying's expression changed. A girl who was married before? Don't ever she dream of being Nan Xian's first wife. She doesn't even deserve to be his concubine. Every woman who wishes to enter the Mu family's door must be clean. Not just that she has been married before. If she also has had a man she was close with, the young manor master would never let such a dissolute woman enter their door either. Therefore, he would go and investigate if Feng Ruqing was really Nan Xian's woman. If that was the case, he would have to report to the young manor master as soon as possible. As soon as Han Ying thought of this, he cleared off the cold aura and shook his body. Suddenly, he vanished in front of Xian's eyes. Xian started to exhale slowly after he had left. Just now, she really thought that she was doomed. Not far away, with its neck craned, the white phoenix stared in the direction where Suyi had left. When Suyi's figure finally appeared in its vision again, it felt so joyful and quickly rushed forward. Suyi, what took you so long? Have you found the way? Yeep. Suyi gently smiled. I've got it and also witnessed a drama. Soon, she told the White Phoenix everything that had happened between Qing Yuan and Ziyuan. Her face looked stunning as usual with an elegant smile. The White Phoenix's face went stiff and said, "The Nailan family? Isn't that Xiao Qingqing's maternal grandfather's family?" Suyi's face turned stiff too. She remained silent for quite a while before she asked, "Would it be late if I go to that woman just now and get even with her? What do you think? Do you still remember the way?" "Oh, I've done some markings when I left to ask for directions, but when I returned, I'm afraid that the Mu family's member would notice my markings, so I've wiped it away. Perhaps we couldn't find it again. How can we find her and get even with her then?" Suyi was shocked and replied hesitantly, "If Qing'er finds out about this, would she be angry? Would she be angry because I didn't punch that woman? Probably not. Xiao Qingqing has a really great temper. Then I'm relieved." Suyi slowly breathed a sigh of relief. After all, Qing'er was Nan Xian's love. As a mother, she had not done anything for her son. Therefore, she must not hold her son back. What if Qing'er got angry and ignored Nan Xian? However, if she ever meets that woman again, she would never easily let go of her anymore. She thought she had spilled the beans on the spur of the moment, so she did not care much and refuted her ironically. However, she could never imagine that she had almost put the Nailan family in trouble, and all of these had something to do with Qing'er. It was the White Phoenix's fault as it did not tell her earlier. Chapter 561, Tian Shan Manor's Mu Family Eye in the courtyard of the Mu family. Just as Mu Ling entered the courtyard, he heard the sound of something crashing from the front. He frowned slightly and could not help but quicken his pace and hurried to the lobby. Though he was far away from the lobby, he could already hear an old fellow cursing someone and a female servant was sobbing too. Just as he reached the lobby, he saw the old fellow smashing the cup in his hand on a woman's body. The girl kept her head down without saying any word and took that old fellow's rage silently. That was what Mu Ling just as he entered the door. His heart ached as he felt like his heart was being pricked by needles. Just as the old fellow wanted to smash the cup again, Mu Ling rushed forward and caught the cup that almost fell onto the woman's body. His eyes were burning with rage. "Father, what are you doing? I want this bad woman to get out of my Mu family." The old fellow was so angry that he took another porcelain cup and smashed it again. Mu Ling did not catch the cup nor evade this time, but allow the cup to be smashed on his head. Fresh blood ran down from his head. He grew colder. "Father, have you had enough?" He clenched his fists tightly. "All these years, you torture Qingyan every time you get sick, and has she ever grumbled? She has been putting up with you for a long time. And is it not enough to make up for your resentment? Also, it was Qingyan's mother's fault. She's innocent." He could not understand. He really could not understand. Why did everyone want to blame Qingyan? "Brother Ling." Qingyan panicked and tugged at Mu Ling's sleeves. She seemed very pitiful as her eyes were filled with tears. "Father is not in good condition recently. I think it's better if you talk less. Besides, It's not a big deal if he smashes some cups on me a few times. Brother Ling should be more tolerant of our old father. That is better. Mu Ling knew that his old father's condition was getting worse too. He would hit someone when he got sick, but when he was sober, he did not even have the strength to hit a person. Therefore, all he could do was to put up with him while facing him. Get lost. Everybody, get lost. I don't want to see anyone. The old father got so enraged and kicked the table, flipping it over. He turned his head and looked at the old butler who was quietly standing beside. I'm hungry. I want to drink the turkey soup prepared by Suyi. Why has Suyi left for so long and hasn't prepared my turkey soup for me? The old butler's lips twitched and he sighed. Master, have you forgotten again? The young lady has already left our Mu family and hasn't returned yet. Where has she gone? The old father did not lose his temper but simply frowned. As he turned to look at Mu Ling, his eyes were filled with rage. Your wife has left. Why didn't you accompany her? Who has allowed you to stay with this woman? Bring my daughter-in-law back to me. I want to drink turkey soup. Chen Qingyan looked stunned as she clenched her small fist tightly. Even her breaths were filled with immense grief. It was obvious that she had been by the old man's side for so many years. However, the daughter-in-law that the old man acknowledged would forever be only Suyi. Suyi only came into their lives later. How could she occupy the status that originally belonged to her? Even when Suyi was gone, Suyi did not return the position back to her. Father. Mu Ling's expressions were unreadable. I have not been with Suyi, but I have already found her. She will return soon. Really? The old man was so happy as his face blossomed into a smile, just like an excited kid. Suyi is coming back. This wicked woman can finally go away. You must treat Suyi well. Back then, just to save you, her strength was. Chapter 562. Tian Shan Manor's Mu Family 2. Before the old man could finish his words, suddenly, Chen Qingyan felt dizzy as her body fell toward Mu Ling. Mu Ling felt confused as he heard the old man's words. Suyi had saved him before. When did that happen? Why did not he know? Chen Qingyan fell unconscious and fell toward him before he could wonder further. He panicked, paled, and immediately caught Chen Qingyan's body. Qingyan, what happened? Are you okay? Chen Qingyan rubbed her temples with her fingers. She sounded weak but gently smiled. I'm fine. Maybe I lost too much blood just now so I feel dizzy now. They'll recover after I rest for a while later. Mu Ling was shocked. He looked at the wound on Chen Qingyan's head as his heart ached. Qingyan, I'm sorry. I've arrived a little too late. Chen Qingyan gently held Mu Ling's hand. I'm fine. Don't blame father. Father's angry because I do not do well. It's true that I'm not as good as Sister Suyi in every way. It's normal if father likes Sister Suyi more. As long as I can be by your side, that's enough for me. I have nothing more to ask for. She had lost her mother when she was young. Mu Ling was her only warmth until now. He was the one who had kept her when she was penniless and had nowhere else to go. Perhaps that was why she could not help but had decided to love him for the rest of her life. Let's go. They'll bring you to rest. Mu Ling secretly kept the old man's words in his mind. He held Chen Qingyan's weak body and walked outside, to the lobby. The old butler slightly shook his head as he saw Mu Ling carrying Chen Qingyan out in his arms. As the saying goes, if the mother kills, her child is not guilty. Therefore, the Mu family did not go after Chen Qingyan. However, it was Chen Qingyan's mother who had killed his mother. Why did the young master fall in love with the enemy's daughter? Master. The old butler seemed to have thought of something and asked, You mentioned that the young lady had saved the young master before. Have I said it just now? The old man was shocked as he put his finger on his lips and shushed himself. Sure, we should never spill the beans since I've promised Suyi that. If Mu Ling knows it, Suyi will leave home and never return again. The old butler's lips twitched. He felt like telling the master that Lady Suyi might never come back to their house again. Butler, the old man suddenly had a pathetic look on his face. I want to drink the turkey soup that Suyi prepares. How long until she returns? The medicine soup that the wicked woman serves is bitter and tastes terrible. When Suyi was here, She would always serve me with some rock candies and sweet plums. I don't want to drink bitter medicine. The old butler sighed helplessly. The old master was still capable of being in charge of the Mu family when he was fit. Now, the old master was not capable of being in charge of the Mu family anymore. His condition was getting worse, and so was his mental health too. Now, he could not control the young manor master anymore too. Luckily, the young manor master was quite filial to the master. Also, he was being kind to his brother. Or else this Mu family would be a different Mu family now, master. Good medicine tastes bitter. I don't want to drink it ever. Master, I've already prepared for you the sweet plums. Perhaps if you drink the medicine now, Lady Sui will happily bring the turkey soup for you. The old man seemed shocked. He felt that the old butler had a point. So, he grabbed the medicine soup from the female servant's hand and swallowed it right away. Butler, I felt a little dizzy. Help me up to get some rest. He had already stood up from the chair, but he felt dizzy. He needed the old butler to hold him as he walked. Chapter 563. Tian Shan Manor's Mu Family 3. Yes, Master. Initially, the master would feel a bit dizzy and sleepy after he drank the medicine. The Mu family had asked the physician from Tian Shan Manor to investigate the medicine's ingredients, and they found out that this spirit herb was really capable of curing of the old man's body. Whenever Qin Qingyin served the old man herbal soup, he would check if the herbal soup was poisonous before he handed it to the old man. However, the old man would still think that Qin Qingyin had put poison in the herbal soup and he would smash it, causing his body to grow weaker as he was not taking any of the herbal soup at all. Today, he had hidden the herbal soup at first. Otherwise, the old man would not be able to hold on any longer. Butler, can we stop the wicked woman from brewing the herbal soup? My wife was poisoned to death by her mother. What shall we do if she wants to poison me too? The old man walked to the door and paused. He pursed his lips and said, I haven't lived enough yet. I don't really want to die. The old butler looked a little helpless and said, I have tried to stop her from brewing the herbal soup before. But then, Lady Qingyin kneeled in front of the door for 3 days and 3 nights to show her filial piety toward the Mu family and had even passed out. The young manor master was enraged and had ordered to send the spirit herbs to Lady Qingyin directly. Therefore, she's the only one who's able to brew spirit herbs as they are all in her hands. We can't do anything. Back then, those people would never dare to serve the master with only one portion of spirit herb. Neither would they hand the only portion of spirit herb to Lady Qingyin. But now, the person in charge of the Mu family was not the master anymore. But I would sleep for days and nights every time after I drink the herbal soups. What if I miss the turkey soup prepared by Sui? Also, I still prefer the herbal soups prepared by Sui, which did not make me sleep for so long. The old man's eyes were flooded with sadness. The old butler smiled bitterly. But the physician from Tian Shan Manor had told us before that the prescription that Lady Si had given you is not as good as the one that Qin Qingyin serves you. Tian Shan Manor's physician had the ultimate power inside the manor. Everybody would listen to his words. And this physician had always been lofty. He never told a lie. Therefore, since he had mentioned that, it was natural for the young manor master to believe in his words without any hesitation. As Mu Ling was holding Qin Qingyin in his arms and entering the backyard, a familiar figure stood in front of him, blocking his path. The man in front of him looked skinny as his handsome face seemed morbidly pale. He lifted his eyes and glanced at Qin Qingyang, who was in Mu Ling's arms, and frowned slightly. Elder brother, you have made father angry again? Mu Ling's face grew tight. Second brother, Qingyin is still your sister-in-law after all. Her name is already written in our family's genealogy book, and that was consented by all our uncles and relatives. How could you just sit aside and look on without saying anything as she is tortured by our father? Father's out of his mind. Are you too? The sick and weak man frowned even tighter. She is only your concubine. My sister-in-law should be your first wife. I know that you hate Qingyin, but, elder brother, Mu Qingyin sighed. I do not hate her. It's just that you know well that father doesn't like her, but why do you still allow her to show up in front of father? that will not only irritate father, but also make his condition worse. She suffers too. Why don't? Second brother. Chen Qingyan struggled to free herself from Mu Ling's arms. A firm and gentle smile dawned on her face. I just want to be filial. If I couldn't serve the old man on my own, I would feel guilty. It's nothing to do with Brother Ling. It's me who wants to take care of father. No matter how the old man is treating me, after all, he's still the elder, and ill bear whatever that happens. Mu Qingyin was speechless. No wonder father dislikes her so much. Chapter 564. Tian Shenmanner's Mu family. For this woman, she really could not understand the human language. Well, whatever. As long as you guys don't make father angry again. I don't really care about anything else, Ahem. Mu Qingyin coughed twice as he seemed to look weak. Then, he turned to look at Qin Qingyan. Lady Qin, my brother's wife is gone, and you have been occupying her position since. When she's back, you will have to, return her position to her. Eventually, Chen Qingyan's face turned pale as she clenched her fists tightly. Why? She contributed so much, but the Mu family's father and son would only miss Suyi and speak of Suyi's name, just because her mother had poisoned the Mu family's lady to death, so she should be the one to be blamed? She had just fallen in love with Mu Ling. Was it wrong to love someone? Qingyan. Mu Ling noticed Qingyan's pale face. He wanted to say something, but he did not know what to say. Indeed, Suyi would come back one day. Chen Qingyan's lips twitched and grew into a bitter smile. I'm fine, Brother Ling. I just feel a little sad. Just leave me alone for a while. We'll be okay later. Mu Ling stared at Chen Qingyan's bitter face. He eventually nodded. Before he came back, he had already wanted to arrange for Chen Qingyan to stay at the Mu family's second courtyard, just in case Suyi would quarrel with her again. But seeing Chen Qingyan's sad expression now, he could not bear to inform her of that yet. Within the Yu city, since the city's master, Yu Buxiong, had listened to Tang Ye's order and brought along all of Yu city's people to besiege Feng Ruqing and her father, his heart had been beating hard as anxiety overcame him. His heart felt heavy, especially when he heard that Feng Ruqing and Nailin Yin had destroyed the Four Kingdoms. He had always felt that after Feng Ruqing had gotten even with the Four Kingdoms, he would be the next one. Lord Mayor, this is terrible. This is really terrible. A guard anxiously hurried in as his eyes were wild with terror. The scout we sent to Lu Yun Kingdom has reported that a few days before, Feng Ruqing has brought along a troop of people and is headed toward us overwhelmingly. By now, they should have almost reached Yu City. Lord Mayor, it does seem like she's starting to find someone to get even with. It was apparent that Yu City could never run away from that. They were doomed. Before that, Nailin Zhangqian was in trouble, so Feng Ruqing could not care much for them and had already left them in a hurry. But now, since everything had settled down, it was time for Feng Ruqing to get even with them. Yu Buxiong was so frightened that his legs were trembling. His eyes were filled with terror. Another voice hurried in before he could speak. That voice was so frightening that he almost fell to the ground. Lord Mayor, big trouble. Feng Ruqing's here. She has reached the city gate and is headed toward Yu City. Yu Buxiong trembled as he gently closed his eyes. What was imminent would come in the end, anyway. No matter what, he would never be able to run away from this disaster. A report. Another voice came from outside the door. A guard rushed in, out of breath. A report to Lord Mayor. Feng Ruqing has gone to the Chang family. The Chang family? Yu Buxiong was too shocked to say anything. This Chang family was too insignificant to be noticed. However, back then, the Chang family's Changli was married to the Tang family's Tang Qianqian. Although this Tang Qianqian was not one of the main members of the direct bloodline of the Tang family, she still had something to do with the Tang family. The Tang family had latched onto the Tang family's power and reached the top. Could it be that she wants to kill all the Tang family members before she comes to us? Yu Buxiong thought and figured out that this was the only plausible reason. After all, the Chang family was too insignificant to get Feng Ruqing's attention. But then, Feng Ruqing went to deal with them first. Chapter 565. Bide time for revenge. I and the Tang family. At that moment, Chang Yuan was considered as the head of the Chang family. Everybody was standing in the courtyard and staring at the young girl who was sitting in front of them, apprehensively. Feng, Lady Feng, is there a reason why you have dropped by our Chang family? Chang Yuan's voice was trembling. Back then, their Chang family had followed the Yu city's master and brought along soldiers to Lu Yun kingdom. However, nobody knew Feng Ruking's mother was Feng Yun Manor's master at that time. Thus, it should be Yu Buxiong that Feng Ruqing should first settle scores with. Was that anything to do with their little Chang family? Yes, I'm here to find Tang Qianqian and Chang Li. Feng Ruqing sat on the wooden chair lazily and smiled. The smile on her face was chilly enough to send a chill down anyone's spine. Chang Yuan was shocked and asked carefully, Lady Feng, my son Chang Li, has he done anything wrong to you? This time, Lei Yun glared at Chang Yuan before Feng Ruqing started to speak. Our manor lady wants you to call them both out. You just shout at them to get here immediately. Why are you spewing so much nonsense? Since the manor master had reunited with their manor lady, Lei Yun never returned to Feng Yun Manor anymore. He could only send someone to keep an eye on their manor lady. When he knew that the manor lady had come to Yu City, he immediately came forward too. However, all these people were so ignorant. They should just follow what the manor lady had ordered. Why do they spew so much nonsense? Chang Yuan was trembling in horror. This great elder of Feng Yun Manor was mighty. He was not someone that Chang Yuan could ever provoke. Therefore, he could only stand up shivering and order someone to bring Chang Li and Tang Qingqing out. Soon, the confused Chang Li and Tang Qianqian, who did not know of the situation, came in from the door. They did not know what had happened, but as soon as they saw Feng Ruqing, their expression changed as their eyes were filled with terror. Previously, they were in the same place as Feng Ruqing too, so they could immediately recognize who that person in front of them was. Father. Chang Li's face was pale as he stuttered. As Chang Li started to talk, suddenly, he noticed a familiar figure standing behind Feng Ruqing. His eyes widened in terror, and his whole body went stiff. He was dumbstruck for quite a while. Tangzi, why would this woman show up here? Back then, all the families had gone to look for Feng Ruqing and her father, but Tangzi was instructed to run some errands, so she was not around with Feng Ruqing. Therefore, nobody knew of her relation with Feng Ruqing. It seems that you still recognize me. Tangzi sneered and slowly walked toward Chang Li and Tang Qianqian. Tang Qianqian was so scared that her legs went limp and she almost collapsed. Her eyes widened as if she had bumped into a ghost. Tangzi, didn't they say that she was dead? Why would this badass woman still return? Tangzi. Feng Ruqing smiled as she leaned on the back of the chair. Today, these people are all at your disposal. Kill the ones that should be killed, and do whatever you wish to. Something strange flashed in Tangzi's eyes. Before that, she had already imagined the scene of meeting these two people again for so many times. Now, it had really come true. She could finally take her big revenge. Chang Li, back then, you were trying so hard to approach me, but only because you want to put me in a devastating situation. However, you did not expect that I would come back someday. The corners of Tangzi's lips lifted into a sneer and said, whenever you tried to approach me, I was still young, and I really thought you treated me as your friend. Back then, Tang Qianqian had come out and framed her by saying that she was colluding with Chang Li to steal the Tang family's secret documents and betray the Tang family. Chapter 566. Bide time for revenge 2. It was initially Tang Qianqian's one-sided words, but no one had ever expected Chang Li to come out and allege that Tangzi intended to betray the Tang family since the beginning. He did not want to gang up with her, and so he revealed everything she did, in anguish. All the Tang family members knew she got along well with Chang Li, and everyone knew that Tang Qianqian did not get along well with Chang Li since a long time ago. Therefore, it was impossible for these two people to team up and frame Tangzi. Even later on, Tang Qianqian and Chang Li had married in a well-reasoned way. They had made an excuse saying that Tang Qianqian admired Chang Li's courage to stand out and point out her deeds. She was attracted to him and started to fall in love with him. Nobody would think that Tang Qianqian and Changli had conspired together since the very beginning. Nobody had believed Tang Zi. Her master wished to protect her. However, it was Tang Luo who was in charge of the Tang family. Therefore, she was expelled from the Tang family for betraying them. Tang Luo even sent someone to beat her nearly to death and left her to die. If the Empress was not passing by the area then, perhaps she would have been dead by now. The Tang family members should be responsible for all of the things that had happened. However, the real culprits were these two people in front of her. Tang Zi clenched her fists tightly as her eyes were filled with overwhelming hatred. That hatred was mixed with a harrowing feeling, but cold enough to arouse fear in Chang Li's heart. Bastard! Chang Yuan slapped and shouted in rage. Chang Li, how dare you do such a thing? Do you really want to destroy the Chang family? There was a trace of blood on the corners of Chang Li's lips. Some strands of his hair fell loose from his head as he looked so pale to the extent that he could barely say a word. Tang Zi looked at Chang Yuan and sneered. You're no better than him. Didn't you know well of Chang Li's deed back then? Chang Yuan's body went stiff as cold sweats broke out on his forehead. He laughed twice, mockingly. Lady Tang Zi, there must be some misunderstanding here. Tang Zi had changed quite a lot compared to 10 years ago. He was not that familiar with her as Chang Li was, so he could not recognize her at first. Or else, he would have sent someone to inform Liar and asked him to come with a plan. Tang Zi, I've already brought you here, and you can deal with the Chang family first. Oh, by the way, you city's people had hurt my father too. I must get even with them on this matter, too. Feng Ruqing caressed her chin, thoughtfully. We will break the hands of those people who started all these. And then we will render them powerless. Yes, Your Highness. The corners of Tang Zi's lips lifted into a smile as she replied. Chang Yuan seemed more panicked as she said, Lady Feng, do you mind if I ask how is Tang Zi related to you? Feng Ruqing heard Chang Yuan's words as she stood up. Her eyes were cold, and she looked overbearing when she looked down at the crowd in front. Tang Zi is my woman. Whoever bullies her will pay it back in 100-fold. Even 1,000-fold would still not be too much. Lei Yun, who was standing next to her, was speechless. Manor lady, he remained silent for a while. He felt that he should remind the manor lady of her gender when she said those words. Feng Ruqing glanced at Lei Yun coldly. I've heard that you wanted to hurt my father back then. Lei Yun could say nothing as his face turned red. Manor lady, I think you've heard it wrongly. I did not want to hurt His Majesty. I just wanted to break the door. Well, so you were saying that you could be rude to my father? Feng Ruqing continued to ask. Lei Yun kept quiet. He could not respond to that sentence. Manor lady, I wasn't aware of His Majesty and the Manor Master's relationship. Chapter 567. Bide Time for Revenge 3. Do you know that I have said that the people of Fengyun clan and I are sworn enemies? Feng Ruqing fixed her eyes on Lei Yun. What has Fengyun clan done to the manor lady? The corner of Lei Yun's lips twitched slightly. Previously, when Feng had commanded the guards of Fengyun clan to blow themselves up, if I had not diverted the impact of the destruction, do you know what would happen? Both Tang Yin and I would have died. Each and every word that Feng Ruqing had said made Lei Yun's heart sank deeper and deeper. He knew that this was the reason why Feng Ruqing did not want to go to Fengyun Manor. If my mother was not awake, do you know what would happen after that? Feng Ruqing stared coldly at Lei Yun. Her face was indifferent. I am not sure, Lei Yun said, obediently. I know you would think that those things were done by the subordinates of Fengyun clan and has nothing to do with you. However, the elders are to be blamed when they fail to handle their subordinates. Feng Ruqing's lips curve into a faint smile. That's why we need the manor lady to helm Fengyun clan. Startled, Lei Yun said after a while. Why does the clan need you all? You can't even handle your subordinates. What else you all can do? Feng Ruqing squinted disdainfully at Lei Yun. In fact, Lei Yun knew that what Feng Ruqing said was true. When the lady of Fengyun clan was at the wheel, everyone in the clan strictly observed the rules. Fengyun clan was not the same as it was now. Naturally, no one would act like the bastard when Feng. However, when the lady of Fengyun clan went missing, everyone in the clan was too busy with cultivation and looking out for the lady. Hence, Fengyun clan had gone a little off track. Moreover, Fifth Elder was to be blamed as he knew of Tang Ye's true identity. If not for Fifth Elder, Tang Yu would not be so daring as to mess around with Fengyun clan. Now that Fifth Elder knew what had actually happened, he sank into deep regret. However, it was too late. Manor Lady, everyone in Fengyun clan wanted to meet you. Do you have time to go to Fengyun Manor? Lei Yun asked fearfully. I have forgiven Fengyun clan because of my mother, but it doesn't mean that I would sacrifice the time I could use for my cultivation to helm Fengyun clan. Feng Ruing shrugged. Watching Feng Ruching from behind, she looked utterly resolute. Lei Yun could not help but sigh softly. Since the manor lady doesn't want to go to Fengyun Manor, perhaps I could arrange some servants for you. The servants in the Princess Manor are rather meager. Servants, Feng Ruching stopped walking. As she had spirit beasts to handle the work in the Princess Manor, she did not need more servants. However, it was not a bad idea to have more beautiful servants to feast her eyes on. Are the servants pretty? Feng Ruching hesitated before asking. Even if they were not pretty, it was not a big deal as Feng Ruching had beauty-enhancing herbal dishes. They are all dazzling beauties. A glimmer of light flashed in Lei Yun's eyes as if he had realized something. Ah, send them over. Cough, cough. Manor Lady, Fengyun Manor is a great place and all the ladies in the manor are enchantingly gorgeous. Do you have time? Lei Yun coughed as he said. I don't have to helm Fengyun clan? Feng Ruching asked with a low voice. There is no need to, if you don't wish to. All right, I will be there when I have the time. Manor Lady, what should we do to the Tang family? Lei Yun asked. Naturally, Tang Luo and Tang Yu would meet a bad end. Chapter 568. Bide time for revenge in these few days. The people of Fengyun clan had nearly skinned both Tang Luo and Tang Yu alive. However, Lei Yun did not know what he should do to both of them. Let go of Tang Yi and Tang Air. No matter what they do next, whether they want to rebuild the Tang family or just disappear from the realm, it has nothing to do with me. Feng Ruching paused for a while and continued. As for the rest of the elders, banish them to the northern savage world, and they are not allowed to set foot in this city again. Manor Lady, you spare their lives. Because of the lady, Tang Yin? Lei Yun's eyes narrowed. Feng Ruching lowered her eyes and laughed without making a sound. Previously, Tang Yin had chosen me over the Tang family without batting an eye. Feng Ruching wanted everyone in the world to know that Tang Yin had made the right choice. Tang Yi and Tang Air had always taken Feng Ruching's side. Hence, they were not wrong. No matter how Feng Ruching hated the Tang family, she would not vent her anger on both of them. However, for the rest of the elders, Lei Yun, go and tell the old coots that I have repaid their kindness for raising Tang Yin on her behalf. Now, she owes them nothing. If they do anything wrong in the future, I will not let them off so easily. It is fortunate that they did not work together with Tang Luo to harm my mother. Otherwise, Feng Ruching would never care about Tang Yin's feelings and would have made them pay for the things that they had done. At your command, Manor Lady. Feng Ruching did not talk further and walked toward the door. Lying on the ground, Tang Qianqian's eyes flickered with hope after hearing the conversation between Feng Ruching and Lei Yun. The Manor Lady of Fengyun clan likes beauty. Although Tang Qianqian was over 30, she still retained her gracefulness. Without hesitation, Tang Qianqian dashed toward Feng Ruching. Lady Feng, please have mercy on me. You can make me your servant as long as you let go of me. Feng Ruching turned her head only to see Tang Qianqian pouncing on her with her eyes filled with affection. Appalled and disgust, Feng Ruching kicked Tang Qianqian's chest and sent her flying out. Bang! Back off. I like men. One Feng Ruching felt that her shoe was stained and quickly took her shoe off and threw it on the floor. This Tang family is extremely disgusting. Lei Yun was rendered speechless. Manor Lady, as you like pretty servants, and you have just said that Tang Zi belongs to you. It is natural that others would get you wrong. Lei Yun too had misunderstood her. He only found out that Feng Ruqing actually liked men because of Tang Qianqian. Lei Yun, don't forget about my servants. Send them to my manor in these few days. Otherwise, Feng Ruqing patted Lei Yun's shoulder as she smiled. Manor lady, I will send them over on time. Lei Yun was slightly startled. Feng Ruqing turned to leave. Simply no one noticed that there was a snake sticking its head out from the bush not far away. Hearing this, it quickly drew its head into the bush fearfully. The snake's master was truly smart to task it to watch Feng Ruqing. Otherwise, the snake would never have known that Feng Yun clan wanted to send her some ladies over to the princess manor, and that the vicious lady had even thrown herself at Feng Ruqing. It was fortunate that the vicious lady was extremely ugly, so Feng Ruqing did not fall for her. I must tell master immediately. Qingzhu looked in the direction where Feng Ruqing had left before sliding through the bushes. In a flash, the snake vanished without a trace. Chapter 569. Bide time for revenge. On this day, various powerful masters gathered at Yu City, creating a stir in the city. Naturally, the ending was devastating. The leader of the powerful masters was crippled after being brutally beaten up. Yu City was no longer part of the reclusive world and would never exist in this realm after this. Feng Ruqing did not stay long at Yu City and went to meet the spirit beasts together with the iron-blooded troop. Howl. Overwhelmed by excitement, the snow wolf did not learn from his previous mistakes and pounced on Feng Ruqing, wanting to give her a hug. Before he could reach her, Feng Ruqing gave him a good kick and sent him flying in the air. A cry of pain could be heard. This vicious wolf wants to hurt me again. Last time, Feng Ruqing had nearly suffocated to death, being trapped under the snow wolf. That was not all. Just before the last time, the snow wolf had pinned her down, had nearly broken all her bones. This time, the snow wolf actually wanted to hurt her again to climb up the ladder. Howl. Groaning in pain, the snow wolf looked extremely pitiful. His eyes were flooded with tears. He was upset as his master did not want to hug him. Now, only the divine spirit fruit could cheer him up. At this time, the Biri and Biri too walked toward Feng Ruqing. The three-striped tiger and its cub walked after them. Biri, you have found your brother. Congratulations. Feng Ruqing broke into a bright smile. Then, she turned to look at the three-striped tiger and its cub. It must be hard for you all. Three-striped tiger, have you completed all the things that you needed to do? When will you go to the princess manor? The three-striped tiger growled. This time, it had purposely left the forest of spirit beasts to help its master, Feng Ruqing. It should have returned to Forest of Spirit Beasts, as it had completed the task Feng Ruqing had assigned to it. However, as Feng Ruqing also tasked the spirit beasts to look after Yu City, the three-striped tiger feared that the spirit beast would go out of control. Hence, it stayed at the city to keep an eye on the spirit beasts and wait for Feng Ruqing. It's fine if you don't have the time now. Don't worry, little Wolfie will take care of your cubs. After all, he is also the father of the three-striped cub, although the snow wolf is just the cub's godfather. Hearing this, Biri turned to look at the snow wolf. The snow wolf too turned to look at Biri. Brother Bear, I am innocent. Do you trust me? Biri's eyes were filled with adoration and respect. Brother Wolf, don't mention it. You have actually subdued the tiger. I truly want to take my hat off to you. The snow wolf was rendered speechless. He felt that his master had truly ruined his reputation. Once again, the three-striped tiger entrusted its cub to Feng Ruqing reluctantly, turned to walk down the street, and vanished from sight. I truly don't know what the tiger mama is busy with. It's so worrying. Snow Wolf, get some spirit beasts to keep an eye on it, and let me know immediately if there is something wrong. Feng Ruqing held the cub in her arms as she frowned. Howl. All right, master. Let's go home, Feng Ruqing said with a faint smile. In Lu Yun Kingdom, not far from the imperial city, a phoenix could be seen descending from the sky. There was a devastatingly gorgeous lady standing on its back. The lady looked extremely graceful and elegant. Her calm and tranquil eyes were fixed on the guards standing at the city's gate. After asking so many people, we have finally reached Suyi. Actually, you don't need to worry. The White Phoenix looked at Suyi after hesitating for a while. I am not worried. Suyi's brows were knitted together. I am serious. Xiao Qingqing is your daughter-in-law. You are her mother-in-law. You don't have to worry. I am literally not worrying. Then can you take your hand off my feathers? You have almost pulled out all my feathers. Chapter 570. Bide time for revenge 6. Slightly startled, Suyi lowered her eyes. She suddenly noticed that the White Phoenix had a bald spot on its body, and she was still holding a few white feathers in her hand. Embarrassed, Suyi said, I'm sorry. I didn't do this on purpose. This is the first time I am becoming a mother-in-law. I don't know what to do. The feeling was as if she was getting married for the first time. White Phoenix. Suyi paused for a while. Yes, Suyi. She's met you before, am I right? Stunned, the White Phoenix looked at Suyi. It did not know why Suyi's words sounded so worrying. Yes. Ah, Suyi nodded calmly. A gust of wind swept over her. Suddenly, the White Phoenix turned into a glimmer of light. With a sharp yelp, the White Phoenix vanished without a trace. White Phoenix, am not ready yet. I will make up to you when I return home. Moreover, the White Phoenix had made itself so conspicuous. It was not an issue if they were at other places. However, they were now at Lu Yun Kingdom. She must keep a low profile. Suyi turned to walk toward the imperial city. The corners of her lips lifted. Recently, misfortunes had repeatedly fallen on the Lu family, one after another. As the saying goes, misery loves company. Firstly, Lu Yuqin had moved to the second manor of the Lu family and had not returned since. Then, the chancellor was dismissed from his post. The chancellor's manor that had always been swarming with visitors had now fallen into a dead silence. A few days after the chancellor was dismissed, the chancellor's manor was set on fire. The chancellor and Lady Lu could not help but move to the second manor that Lu Yuqin was staying. Hence, Lu Yuqin had left the second manor once again and did not return for a few days. In the second manor of the Lu family, burning with anger, Lady Lu gave a hard slap across Tan Shuangshuang's face. Tan Shuangshuang, you are truly good for nothing. You can't even win Yuqin's heart. You might as well move out of here and let someone else stay here. Lady Lu, you want me to leave Yuqin so your daughter-in-law could move in here, am I right? Unfortunately, Feng Ruqing is in her pomp now. The Lu family is nothing in her eyes. Tan Shuangshuang stroked her face as she sneered. You slut. Shut up. You are the one who had dug us into this big hole. If not for you, Her Highness would not have left the Lu family. Lady Lu gave Tan Shuangshuang a kick. Lady Lu was right. Ever since Feng Ruqing had left the Chancellor's manor, she had changed. Previously, Feng Ruqing was not like she was now. It was all of Tan Shuangshuang's fault. Pfft, that's what you wish all this while, haven't you? You said that Feng Ruqing is a notorious lady and would ruin the Lu family's reputation. You also said that Yuqin doesn't want to sleep with Feng Ruqing and Feng Ruqing doesn't allow him to take a concubine. She could not carry on the Lu family's line. Hence, you want me to chase her out of the manor. I am just fulfilling your dream. Tan Shuangshuang smirked. As Lu Yuqin was no longer in love with Tan Shuangshuang, she had started to show her true colors. It was a pity that even if Tan Shuangshuang had exhausted all her tricks, she had lost to Feng Ruqing. Although Tan Shuangshuang could not reconcile herself to the situation, she simply could not do anything to Feng Ruqing as she could not even step into the princess manor. You slut. Shut up. Lady Lu grabbed Tan Shuangshuang's hair forcefully and hit her head on the table. Her loud, piercing voice was full of anger. At this time, the Chancellor, Lu Fuyong, entered the manor and saw Lady Lu hitting Tan Shuangshuang's head on the table. Tan Shuangshuang did not retaliate. She had lost everything: family background, lover, honorable status, and an extravagant life. Chapter 571. Bide time for revenge. 7 Tan Shuang had lost everything. Lu Fuyong felt a throbbing pain in his temples. He quickly grabbed Lady Liu's hand and removed Tan Shuang's head out from Lady Liu's grip. What are you doing? If anyone else knows this, how would I be able to make a living in the Imperial City anymore? Do you truly think we don't have enough trouble already? Lu Fuyong said as he frowned. If not for this slut, Tan Shuang, Feng Ruqing would still be my daughter-in-law. Lady Liu's face was drained of color. Enough. Stop dreaming. Both His Majesty and Her Majesty hate the Lu family. Previously, Lu Fuyong was still a chancellor. Naturally, Lady Lu could still live in her own fantasy. Now, Lu Fuyong was nothing. Why would the princess want to be her daughter-in-law? When you have time, go and look for Yuqin. He has not been home for a while. Lu Fuyong's brows were knitted together. Even since Lu Fuyong had stopped Lu Yuqin from going to the Battle of the Four Kingdoms, Lu Yuqin and the Chancellor were no longer on talking terms. Lu Yuqin had even left the Chancellor's manor. Now, the Chancellor regretted the things that he had done. If he knew that the Four Kingdoms would lose the battle, he would never have stopped Lu Yuqin. Lu Fuyong's words brought a lump to Lady Liu's throat. She quickly stopped and rushed out the door. Tan Shuang did not say anything and only lowered her head. Her face was swollen and red. Blood could be seen oozing out from the wound on her forehead. Don't bother about this psycho. Go and treat the wound, or it would leave a scar on your face, Lu Fuyong said as he could not bear to see her sad. Tan Shuang merely nodded and left. Her face was ghastly pale. Lu Fuyong looked in the direction where Tan Shuang had left and heaved a soft sigh. Tan Shuang was the prettiest lady of Lu Yun Kingdom, but has fallen into such a sorry state now. I did hate her, but seeing her current situation, I can no longer do that. Moreover, Tan Shuang was still stunning as she was. Simply no one could get mad at her. Just as Lady Lu left the manor, an unfamiliar voice stopped her. The voice sounded like a yellow warbler's chirp. It was elegant, graceful, and extremely pleasant to the ears. How can I get to the palace? In fact, Suyi was truly fortunate. Xian was the first person she had asked for direction, while the last person she asked was Lady Lu. Both of them were associated with Feng Ruqing but were in a bad mood when Suyi approached them. Originally, Lady Lu did not pay attention to Suyi. When she heard Suyi's voice, she could not help raising her head to look at Suyi. Soon after Empress Nailin had gone missing, Tan Shuang had become the prettiest lady of Lu Yun Kingdom. Then, when Feng Ruqing had successfully lost weight, she had turned into a devastatingly gorgeous lady. Now, the lady who stood before Lady Lu too was exquisitely stunning, and even Tan Shuang was no match for her. Since when were there so many beauties in Lu Yun Kingdom? Lady Lu had always hated beautiful ladies. Moreover, this beautiful lady wanted to go to the palace. Simply no one knew what she was up to. You slut. You are so disgusting. You truly think that you could win His Majesty's heart with your beauty? His Majesty is so in love with Her Majesty. Who do you think you are to be his concubine? The people I hate the most are those who ruin relationships and break up families. Lady Lu vented all her anger on a stranger. Moreover, they were on the bustling street. If Feng Ruqing had heard of Lady Liu's words, perhaps she would look differently at the Lu family and give Yuqin a chance. Beaming in pride, Lady Lu was proud of her smart move. Chapter 572. Suyi was stunned. Hearing this, Suyi was stunned. She had met countless people in her life. However, she had never met such a miserable shrew, like the one in front of her. Although Suyi had a good upbringing, she could not stand Lady Liu's madness. If Lady Lu were not just an ordinary human, Suyi would have hurt Lady Lu. I don't want to waste my time on a psycho. Suyi swung her hand and turned to leave. At this moment, there was an uproar on the street ahead of them. Lady Lu turned her head around only to see Feng Ruqing leading a herd of spirit beasts on the street. Seeing this, her eyes lit up and she quickly rushed toward Feng Ruqing. The people stood by the side of the street and watched in awe at the stunning lady who was riding the snow wolf. That lady was their princess. Feng Ruching was nothing but a notorious lady back then. Now, she was much beloved by the people of Lu Yun Kingdom. When these people knew that the things that Feng Ruching had done previously were all because of Lu Rong and Feng Rushuang, they were bursting with rage. Empress Nailin had poured her blood, sweat, and tears into this kingdom. She was such a great hero. Naturally, her daughter was not inferior to her. It was all because of Lu Rong. As Lu Rong could not stand being left in the cold, she had an affair with another man. She had even led Feng Ruching astray, made her lose her integrity, and cut Feng Ruching off from her family. Lu Rong should die a million deaths for her sins. The people of Lu Yun Kingdom respected Feng Ruching as much as they hated Lu Rong. At this time, a silhouette rushed toward her from the street ahead of them and spoiled the vibe. Suddenly, the person was already standing in front of Feng Ruching. The snow wolf quickly raised his paw and gave her a good kick. A loud cry sounded. Hearing this, Suyi, who was standing not far away, turned her head around. "Your Highness, I have something to tell you." Lady Lu bit back the pain. The color drained from her face. She forced a smile as she spoke. "Madam, do I know you?" With a smile on her face, Feng Ruching stroked her chin and lowered her head to look at Lady Lu, who was kneeling on the ground. "Your Highness, I am your ex-mother-in-law. We haven't met only for a few months, and you have forgotten about me?" Lady Liu's face stiffened and coughed bashfully. Ex-mother-in-law. As soon as Lady Lu finished her words, Feng Ruching did not say anything, but the people around her broke into laughter. "Lady Lu, you are truly shameless to say this. Your son is not faithful to Her Highness. He had an affair with Tan Shuangshuang. Her Highness had nearly taken her own life in the Chancellor's manor because of this. Moreover, Her Highness has divorced your son." Fortunately, Lu Yuqin did not sleep with Her Highness, as she was a 250-pound fatty back then. Her Highness was such a great lady, but Lu Yuqin is so shallow and always judges others by their appearances. He must not ruin Her Highness' life. In this world, when one was not liked, everything he or she said was wrong. Previously, these people had always said that Feng Ruching was a toad lusting after a swan's flesh. Only Tan Shuangshuang, a beautiful and highly gifted lady, was Lu Yuqin's perfect match. Back then, no one called Tan Shuangshuang a homewrecker, and simply no one felt sympathy for Feng Ruching. Everyone hated her and could not wait to see her vanish from this world. As the saying goes, every dog has its day. Currently, it turned out that Lu Yuqin was not good enough for Feng Ruching. It was natural that Feng Ruching would dump him. However, could they stop saying those words, 250 pounds? Chapter 573. Suyi was stunned too. Can you wipe it from your memory? Lady Liu's face darkened a few shades as she glared at the people who were talking. She then turned to look at Feng Ruching. "No, Your Highness. I want to tell you that a lady." "Who are you?" Feng Ruching asked with a smile playing on her lips. "Didn't I tell you?" "I am." Lady Liu's face stiffened again. "Ah, I don't have an ex-mother-in-law. Naturally, I don't know you. Snow Wolf, send her off." "Howl." Without the slightest hesitation, the Snow Wolf raised its paw once again, slapping Lady Lu across her face and sending her flying through the air. Lady Lu landed, rolling, on the ground. "Your Highness is so charming. I want to marry you and have your baby." A lady with freckles on her face held her hands to her heart as she said bashfully. The Snow Wolf was dumbfounded. It was he who had done that. His master merely gave a command while riding on his back. How could this lady say that its master was charming? Feng Ruching looked down at the lady with freckles on her face. Thrilled with joy, the lady wanted to cover the freckles with her hands, but had put her hands down after hearing Feng Ruching's words. "You look cute with freckles on your face. I remember that you are the daughter of the deputy finance minister. Your father and brothers are very brave. They are severely hurt in this battle. We have always respected those who defend our kingdom." Feng Ruching's smile was as bright as the brilliant sunlight and dazzling like a rainbow. All the ladies looked cute Feng Ruching's eyes, so long as they did not act like Tan Shuangshuang and Feng Rushuang. The heart of the lady with freckles pounded violently. Her Highness still remembers me. That's so great. The guard of Fengyun clan who followed Feng Ruching secretly jotted down Feng Ruching words in a tiny notebook. The manor lady likes ladies with freckles on her face. He must inform the elders and draw freckles on the face of all servants to be sent to the princess manor. The ladies surrounded Feng Ruching took a glance at the overjoyed lady with freckles and then dropped their eyes as if planning for something. One even since Suyi heard how the people of Lu Yun Kingdom greeted Feng Ruching, she could not take her eyes off Feng Ruching. Suyi's gaze was so piercing that Feng Ruching could hardly ignore it. Hence, she turned her head slowly and looked at Suyi's face. She did not know why the lady in front of her looked very familiar, as if she had met this lady before. However, Feng Ruching was sure that she had never met Suyi. "Hey beautiful, have we met before?" A hint of hesitation flashed in Feng Ruching's eyes. Suyi was rendered speechless. She felt as if she had bumped into a tyrant. However, seeing the ladies around her staring affectionately at Feng Ruching, Suyi's brows knitted slightly. Her cold eyes cast a warning gaze at the crowd, as if signaling them to behave as Feng Ruching was her daughter-in-law. "Why are they staring at me? I am a friend of the White Phoenix. It wanted me to look for you," said Suyi. "Ah, where is the White Phoenix? I want to thank it. If not for the White Phoenix, my father would have been in danger." Feng Ruching suddenly had an epiphany. There is no need. That was what it had to do. There was no need to thank the White Phoenix. As Feng Ruching would be Nanxian's wife, it was natural that the White Phoenix protected her. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.